What if I told you that the company behind the most played PC game on the planet almost didn't happen? Two guys, one obsession. A single bet that players actually care about what developers thought of them. This is the story of Riot Games, how they went from a nobody to building a 35 billion empire that redefined gaming industry as we know it. This is the first video talking about Riot Games, and let's begin with the journey with this famous game company. So, who exactly are Brandon Beck and Mark Merrow? They're not engineers, they're not industry veterans. They didn't come from EA or Blizzard or any big studio. They're just gamers. They're serious gamers, the kind who didn't just play games, they live in them. Forums, patch notes, community threads at 2 a.m. The kind of players who had opinions about balance changes before balance changes were even a thing developers talk about just publicly. The two met at the University of Southern California, and from early on, they bonded over one thing: a deep, almost obsessive love for online multiplayer games. They play everything, but what really grabbed them and what they kept coming back to were games with real communities behind them. Games where the social layer was the game, where knowing other players, building strategies together, and showing up night after night actually meant something. And the game that defined that era for them is Warcraft 3. More specifically, a fan-made mod inside Warcraft 3 called Dota All-Stars. To understand why Dota mattered, you first have to understand the industry it disrupted. In the early 2000s, the video game market operated on a straightforward but limiting model. Major publishers controlled the creative pipeline from the start to finish. A game was developed, manufactured, shipped to retail, and sold. And once that transaction was complete, the relationship between developer and player was largely over. Online multiplayer was still in its infancy, constrained by slow internet infrastructure, high access costs, and limited mainstream adoption. As you can see in the product line cycle graph, you can see here, the online playing games are in its infancy stage. Games were designed as finite experiences, products to be consumed, completed, and replaced by the next release cycle. The concept of continuous evolving game, one shaped in real time by the needs and preferences of its player base, had no established examples in the Western market. And then, Dota changed everything entirely. It was not the product of a major studio or corporate development team, it was built by the players. Those fans of Blizzard Warcraft 3 used the game modding tools to create something entirely new. Through countless iterations, community contributions, and grassroots developments, they gave rise to an entirely new genre, the multiplayer online battle arena or MOBA. What made Dota remarkable was not simply by its gameplay, but what it demonstrated about the potential of community-driven development. Beck and Merrow weren't just fans of the game, they were students of it. They wanted to understand the mechanics behind its success. Why were millions of players choosing a fan-made mod over officially released, commercially backed titles? What was driven that loyalty? What was sustaining that engagement? The conclusion they reached was straightforward but profound: community ownership. Dota succeeded because players felt genuine stake in it. Although Dota is a new genre, it is still in its infancy. In Western cultures, big studios would spend years building a game, hundreds of millions of dollars, massive marketing campaigns, and launch day. And then, the moment the game shipped, the team would pivot onto the next project, or to the next release, or to the next cycle. The game you just fell in love with, quietly left behind. No real updates, no genuine community response, and just a skeleton crew keeping the servers alive while the studio's attention moved on completely. Even in the newest version Dota 2, some bugs are not fixed yet.
Do you commend players more now? So that's the thing, is commends are also broken right now. So commends don't count and they don't increase your behavior score. So everyone's behavior score will go down because commends are broken and reports work too much and there's an infinite supply of them.
Beck and Merrill called this out for what it was: a broken relationship between developers and players. And they saw it everywhere. Western studios, in particular, will lock it into this release and abandon cycle, ship it, sell it, and then move on. But then they look at East. Asia game developers, particularly in South Korea and China, were doing something different. They were building online games designed to last for years, games supported by free-to-play models, live updates, and deep community engagement. Games that treated their players like a long-term audience, not a one-time customer. And here is what they said about their targeted customers look like.
Play a lot of games we played a lot of MMOs, but our other favorite games to play were sort of session-based competitive experiences, especially if they were like cooperative, where we could sort of play together. So StarCraft was a huge one for us. Warcraft 3, Dota, a lot of the games in sort of the mod scenes were really, I think, where we sort of spent a lot of our time. And we wanted to build games for players that we related to, like for players like us, and so the goal was to build very competitive, cooperative kinds of experiences that you could just run around and kick ass with your friends. And a lot of those games, if they weren't an MMO, they didn't have a subscription model or any sort of online model. So at the time, publishers were sort of driven to release a new packaged goods, a new SKU sort of at retail, at Walmart, and that meant that it was sort of hard to support your hardest core community that was happy to play hundreds or thousands of hours of your game like us, when you're sort of always racing to build the next one. And we really wanted to sort of focus on those kinds of players.
So that's where it all started. 2 gamers, 1 broker industry, and 1 radical idea. But having a great idea is one thing, turning into a real game and actually getting people to play it is a completely different challenge. In the next video, we're going to talk about how League of Legends was born and the business genius idea behind its success, and we are going to use a more economic and finance view to kind of analyze this firm. If you want to see that, please subscribe to my channel because this video is coming very soon. And drop a comment below and we'll see you on the next one.